Hello and welcome. My name is David Bankman. Today's title is The Freedom of God. It's funny how little things can get you to thinking sometimes. The other day when I got up, I'm a day sleeper, and I went to greet my wife. She told me there were some dirty dishes in the sink. She had put on a roast to cook, and there was a bowl and a large skillet. So when I went downstairs, I looked at them, and it was a very minor thing, but I went ahead and washed them. Now, she did not want me to wash them. She didn't ask me to wash them. She would have washed them as soon as she came down in a few minutes. I had the freedom to choose to do it, and in that choosing to do, I was happy. It gave me joy to wash them, knowing that she would be pleased that I washed them. So the question is, what does washing dishes have to do with God or freedom of God? Well, in that little time, that little chore I was doing, I found a God lesson. Let me backtrack a little bit. I've been spending some time in Matthew 23. This is the 7 woes of the Pharisees, or the big religious word, Chiasm of Matthew. You can look that up. I'm not going into that. In it, Jesus takes the Pharisees to task quite a bit. I think it really boils down to where their hearts were. He called them hypocrites quite a few times. I think snakes one time or 2 times. But they were doing all of this religious stuff, this big outward show of prayer and dressing, but the hearts weren't where they needed to be. They weren't doing it for the love of God. They were doing it for the approval of man. That's what I'm thinking about, the freedom of God. Now, God does not want to punish us. He doesn't want to send us to hell. He wants us to spend eternity with Him. In order for us to spend eternity with Him, we have to be free of sin. So God sent His Son, Jesus, who died on the cross for us so that we could be saved and forgiven of our sin. This gives us the freedom to choose to worship or choose not to worship. So when we choose to worship and we do the things, we should have a heart filled with joy, knowing that God is happy and takes joy in seeing us doing the things that Jesus taught. We see this in Matthew 22, 37 through 39. It's the 2 greatest commandments. It reads, Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. The second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself." If your heart is full of love, the things you do are because of love. If you are doing things out of love, you have joy in the doing. Thank you and blessings.